Today it's Wales. No, 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 not Wales, but Wales. Wales, the country which, along with Scotland, Northern Ireland, and England, make up the United Kingdom. Wales is famous for leeks, a vegetable from the onion family. And daffodils, a colourful yellow spring flower which blossoms around the beginning of March in time for Wales's National Saint Day for St David. The longest place name in the world, and no, I am not going to pronounce it. Culinary delight of a dish called Welsh rabbit or rarebit. Welsh coal that helped to power the British industrial machine for about 200 years. And Wales gave us these great legends.
You fight with the strength of many men, Sir Knight. I am Arthur, King of the Britons. I seek the finest and the bravest knights in the land to join me in my court at Camelot.
I saw the flickering shadows of love on her blind. She was my woman. As she deceived me, I watched and went out of my mind.
Goldfinger, he's the man with a Midas touch, a spider's touch, such a cold finger.
Stand up there in the pulpit and you say, I will teach you infinities. I will say to you that the greatest poem in the English language is the present tense of the verb to be. Now, one asks, what is the present tense of the verb to be? Now, I speak for you, right? It's like this. The present indicative of the verb to be. I am, thou art, she is, he is, we are, you are, they are.
Stop your dreaming, can't you see their spear points gleaming? See their warrior pennons streaming to this battlefield.
Sing!
Men of Alex, stand ye steady.
Come on, sing!
It cannot be ever said ye. For the battle with a raging never yield. The mighty foe surrounding, men of
Now we come to this Welsh clown. I am sure every self-respecting Welshman and woman will be embarrassed by this particular Welshman, who brings a completely new meaning to being the village idiot to the village of idiots. This is Expattaffy, who now lives in Thailand and spends his time looking at low-resolution pictures of the Apollo missions, fixating on several YouTube creators and making ridiculous videos about how in his tiny little mind he thinks the moon missions were faked. He also does love to proclaim that he is brilliant, but unfortunately we shall see he is only a brilliant clown.
Hi there folks, welcome to another video. Just a quickie on this day, Sunday the 15th of March. A video by the brilliant Expattaffy, as you can see, titled Fake NASA News. Now what this is about folks is an article by NASA appearing in the Daily Express today. The Daily Express has taken over from the Daily Mail as NASA's dumping ground for their crap news, as you are going to see now. Okay folks, take a look at the next photo coming up, which will show you the article in the Daily Express today, Sunday the 15th of March. Take a look at it. Okay folks, here's that article in the Daily Express today. NASA News. Space Agency shares out-of-the-world image from Apollo 9 mission. NASA has shared an out-of-the-world image as the Space Agency marks the anniversary of the 1969 Apollo 9 mission. Okay folks, now the brilliant Expattaffy has left a comment in that article. I'm surprised Bertie Slackout isn't there yet, but I left a comment there. There was no Apollo 9 mission round the moon. There was no Apollo 10 mission. All these earlier missions were cover-ups for rocket failures.
Okay, ladies and gentlemen, let's go to the official NASA website and find out what the Apollo 9 mission was about. The mission objective. The primary objective of the Apollo 9 was an Earth orbital engineering test of the first crewed lunar module, or LM. Other prime objectives included an overall checkout of launch vehicle and spacecraft systems, the crew and the procedures. This was done by performing an integral series of flight tests with the Command Module, or CM, the Service Module, or SM, the Joint Command and Service Module, or CSM, the Lunar Module, and the Saturn IV-B stage while they were linked in launch, or various docked configurations, and what they were flying independently. The LM was to be tested as a self-sufficient spacecraft and was also to perform active rendezvous and docking manoeuvres paralleling those scheduled for the following Apollo 10 lunar orbit mission. So, in short, Apollo 9 was only a mission to Earth orbit to carry out engineering tests, and not a cover-up as Expattaffy claims. Like all moon-denying conspiracy idiots, doing research is beyond their capability, and understanding that research is again beyond their mental capabilities. And just like flat earthers, make wild claims without one shred of evidence or proof.
As was Apollo 11. They haven't got a rocket that can get to the moon today, so how come they claim they had one 50 odd years ago?
What do you mean, Taff? Like this mighty Saturn V?
All these 9 to 8, 9 and 10 missions is cover-ups for rocket failures.
So, are you actually going to provide us with any proof of these claims of yours, Taffy?
And you'll see proof of that coming up now.
That doesn't look like a proof of rocket failure. That looks like a lunar module floating in space. No failure there. But please go on, my man. Let's see what you've got to say for yourself. This could be entertaining.
Okay, folks. Take a look at this photo here now. This photo is the LEM in that Daily Express article today. It's a photo by NASA that they claim is the Apollo 9 LEM in space. So it must be orbiting the moon because it's detached from the command module.
What you talking about? What you talking about? What you talking about? What you talking about, Willis?
Now, how many of you can spot errors in that photo that tells you it's 100% fake?
Holy hell, son, you're about as useful as a cock-flavored lollipop.
Here is the high-res image of Expattaffy's image I downloaded from the NASA website earlier. I see nothing wrong in this image, and it only proves that Expattaffy needs his eyes tested, as that is no moon. Unless the moon has suddenly got oceans, land masses and an atmosphere.
Come on, dirty slap, you transgender idiot. Let's have some comments. And what about you, Joan Evans, idiot? Let's see what you're going to say about this one. The brilliant Expattaffy took one look at it and said, I can see quite a few errors that tells you it's fake. It's not a genuine photo taken of any LEM in space. And let's see if any of you can pick out the errors. Because what you're going to have now is the brilliant Expattaffy showing you the errors in that photo, telling you it's not just a fake photo, it's a photo filled with whistleblowers' clues. Watch for the photo coming up, analysed by the brilliant Expattaffy, folks. Okay, folks, here's that photo from NASA's article in the Daily Express today. Fake NASA news, fake Apollo 9 LEM. Now, starting top left, in green, I've marked an arrow showing the door. Now that is correct. Now under that, I've marked ladder 1. Now why have I marked ladder 1? Well, that ladder 1 is in the correct position. It's directly under the door. So the ladder 1 is the correct ladder. But if you go along to the other side, and I'll give you a closer look at it, you've got a ladder on the leg opposite. How can we have a second ladder? Now, another thing, before there's any disputes over that, oh, you're seeing things all pareidolia and all that bloody nonsense, look at my bottom yellow arrow pointing to the left. Under the footpad, you've got a landing sensor in this photo. Now that's one thing that was never added to any of the LEMs. The ladder leg never had a landing sensor underneath it. So how come we've got one here? And another thing, in the middle you'll see here a deliberate inserted whistleblower's eye catcher. And that's what I call them eyeballs, an eye catcher. A white eyeball with a black pupil, and I'll give you a close-up view of it. It's what the whistleblowers put in to say, hey, look here. Here you are, folks, a cross section of that opposite leg to the ladder leg. You can definitely see another ladder on this leg. You can see the line down for the sidebars, and you can see the rungs. And with my left yellow arrow, you can see the eye catchers. An eye, a white patch with a black pupil.
What you just said is one of the most insanely idiotic things I have ever heard. At no point in your rambling, incoherent response were you even close to anything that could be considered a rational thought. Everyone in this room is now dumber for having listened to it.
Let's take a look for ourselves of the Apollo 9 LEM on the NASA website. Well, there's the image that Taffy's got a low res version of. Yes, Apollo 9's LEM did have 4 lunar surface sensing probes on its landing pads. The probe on the ladder leg was removed from future LEMs as it was feared it could protrude upwards on landing and present a potential hazard to the astronauts disembarking the LEM. Let's now look at your other ridiculous claims, that mysterious whistleblower's eye and your second ladder. Well, in this high-res image, there's no sign of that whistleblower's eye or that second ladder on that leg, is there? That's clearly insulation wrapped around the landing strut. And still no sign of the moon, and that's definitely not the Sea of Tranquility. And now, in the last part of this video of his, Expattaffy demonstrates his ability to suffer from pareidolia, where he sees crazy little things in shadows and rocks on the moon. Do enjoy, it's very funny.
Okay, folks. For the example of one of them white eyeballs with black pupils, here's another one of my better finds here. When I titled The Big Black Bird, what you can see with this shadow, it's the shape of a cormorant. It's got wings sticking up, he's got 2 legs underneath, and he's carrying something in his claws, maybe a fish. Well, how many of you are convinced by that, folks? Can any of you deny that's a deliberately airbrushed in black bird with a white eyeball with a black pupil? A whistleblower's clue. If you're not convinced, I'll give you another example. Okay, take a look at the next photo coming up. There you are, folks. Look at this one here. Very clever of whoever's doing the photo, and we know who it is. It's Kip Teak. Look what he's done here. He's used the shadow of the rover area dish to represent the antlers for a moose. You've got a mouth, you've got the long head, the nose of a moose, and you've got a white eye with a black pupil. And there you are, folks. There's a cropped, enlarged section of that shadow showing the head of a moose.
100,000 sperm and you were the fastest.
But you can distinctly see a white eye with a black pupil looking up. Now, I can tell you, there's only one way you get a white spot like that in any shadow, and that's if there was a hole in the object that's obstructing the light. So there you are, folks. There's all the proof you need that Apollo 9 LEM is 100% fake.
You were literally too stupid to insult.
Expattaffy's entire video channel is video upon video of him looking at low resolution images going, duh, it's fake, and clearly not comprehending these photos were all taken by a non-digital film camera and have negatives. He cannot grasp the simple fact you cannot Photoshop a picture that was taken decades before Photoshop technology existed. In this hilarious video, Taffy thinks he's found an air compressor. Let's have a listen.
As I've displayed time after time, these whistleblowers very often leave a clue and a backup clue nearby, what I call a confirmation clue. And what do you know? To the right of that, I found the main clue. And there's the whistleblower's clue, folks, the main one. Something copied and pasted onto his waist. Something that I have never seen on any other astronaut. So, I started doing a lot more investigating.
So, what do you think he went and did? Do you think he went and to the NASA Apollo library to look into the suit's designs and how they evolved over the 6 moon missions to discover that it was the modified purge valve? Or make something completely up that fits his narrative of claiming these missions were faked? Shall we have a listen to what he finally comes up with? And it is hilarious.
Now, here is that suspicious object, folks. I've cropped and zoomed it up. Any of you recognize it? Well, I must admit, I was completely stumped for quite a while on this. I couldn't understand what it was. I first thought on this was due to these grid lines you can see, a grill. I was wondering if it may be a radio of some kind, or an iPod. Now, folks, after pondering with this for at least half hour, I decided to try a different approach. Look at it from a different angle, so to speak. So what I done with this object, I rotated it clockwise around about 190 degrees. And there you are, folks. That's what I came up with by inverting this object. Now, plain to see, you can see a black round section. It's on a base plate, and you've got some object on the top. And it didn't take me long to figure out what this was, folks. It's a 12-volt mini compressor, a tire inflator. The top grey part being the compressor and the grids being the heat exchanger. And coming out of the top, you've got the air delivery pipe. Now, my next step was to go on the net. I plotted into Google 12-volt mini air compressors, tire inflators. And what do you think I come up with, folks? Here it is, coming up. Now, from one of the many sites, I came up with this.
Without any research into it, he thinks he sees an air compressor, so it must be an air compressor. Ooh. Instead of actually looking at documents that might actually tell him what it is. Finally, let's look at an example of what Expattaffy does every time. He looks at a low resolution image, sees all the digital noise associated with that image, and claims proof it's fake.
I want you to take a look at this photo here. The Apollo 16 LEM AS16-118-18894. Now, here it is brightened up. Now, what do you see on this photo, folks? Well, what you can see on it is a mottled area all around the LEM. This is a sign of compositing. They took this photo and they cut around it with a scissors and they composited it onto a black background to make it look like the blackness of space. But there's the evidence of compositing staring you in the face, okay?
You stupid, ignorant son of a bitch, dumb bastard! Jesus Christ, I've met some dumb bastards in my time, but you outdo them all.
Now let's look at the high resolution version of that same photo Expattaffy was looking at. I alter the brightness, colour and clarity on this image and I get no such compositing effects occurring. At the end of the day, It's a genuine photo of the lunar module. I guess if Expattaffy actually used high resolution images, then he would not be able to fuel his conspiracy fantasies. Just looking at the NASA Apollo journal, you can find the coordinates of the Apollo landing sites. And NASA has even taken photos of those same landing sites today. I hope you have enjoyed this video and thank you for watching. See you soon.